Okay. Sales representative is taking 10% off. 10% off, meaning we're taking that away. 10% is being taken away from our full bill. So we have two different things that we can kind of think about there. My first initial thought is, okay, 10% of means to multiply. My bill is taken off from original. Okay. So what that means is the new, sorry, that's not very spaced out, bill is part of the original bill. It's what's left over after 10% has been removed. So the original bill is the whole. So what that would look like is that the new bill is equal to, we're taking the original, I'm going to start shortening this, original bill minus, and I'm going to be taking 10% of the original bill. So the original bill, however much it costs, minus 10%. So 10%, we're moving that decimal 2 places to the left. So that is 0.1 when we're actually working with it, times the original bill. Okay, 10% of, here's the 10%, and we had the original bill, we had to take that away from the original bill. Okay, and then we also have, so the first way on the left is the way that I generally think about it, but an easier way to actually do it in math is if we take and we think about how much are you going to actually pay. So if we're having 10% off, that means what we're going to pay is we're actually only going to pay 90% of your bill. So we're actually going to pay 90% of the bill. Okay? Again, of means to multiply. So the new bill is part of the original bill left. Whoops, I think I'm sorry, I'm writing from the wrong side. I'm sorry, I know that was a good bit. Okay. Most of that was right, sorry. I switched my sides. the new bill is part of the original bill, so the original bill is the whole. So in both cases, our original is the whole. So what this one would look like is we're taking our new bill is equal to, if I take 0.90, 90%, move the decimal 2 places to the left. 1, 2 is where I get the 0.9 from. 0.90 just because I'm used to putting the 0 because it was 90% earlier. Doesn't change our answer. Times the original. So in the one on the left, we have to do the subtraction if we're multiplying just by the 10%. On this one, because we're multiplying what she's paying, she's only paying 90% of the original, we just have to do the multiplication. So we have multiplication and subtraction here. Here we just have multiplication. This is the one we're going to try and concentrate on the most, but we need to know both are available. So these two equations are actually equivalent. Okay, let's look at example number 2. Our example is so nice that it tells us that this is going to be a decrease one, but let's find those words in here. Ken said that he is going to reduce the number of calories that he eats during the day. Ken's trainer asked him to start off small and reduce the number of calories by no more than 7%. Ken estimated and consumed 220 calories per day instead of his normal 2,500 calories per day until his next visit with his trainer. And so we want to say, did Ken reduce his calorie intake by no more than 7%? Okay, and so we know that this is going to be a decrease because of that word reduce. Okay, so we're talking about percent change, and so therefore we need to figure out what is the change here. So originally he was having 2,500 calories. The new is that he's starting to have 2,200 calories. So our change is 300 when I subtract. So that's our change, or in this case, it's our decrease. Okay, using the word change just can apply for increase or decrease. So our part is 300. So our part is going to be our change. And I think we wrote that in our notes earlier. And then our percent, we actually have been given a percent here, which is 7%. Remember, we got to move that decimal twice to the left, which would make that 0.07. So if we're not moving our decimal, we may get the same numbers in the same order, but our decimal is going to be in the wrong place. And so therefore we may have a higher number or a lower number than we actually should. And then our whole is what we originally started out with. Is our original. So our original was 2,500. Okay. Always write it. P is equal to percent W. Percent times the W. So our part we said is 300. Why did I write 33? I don't know, but let's change that. Is equal to, the percent we know is 0.07. And the whole, we're multiplying, so let's show that with parentheses. Sorry. 2500. That was our whole. Okay. Rather than showing it with the point, we definitely don't want to use the x because it looks like a variable, but if we use the dot, it might look like a decimal. So parentheses is kind of the best thing here. So 300 is equal to 0.07 times 2500 equals 175. Okay, so we see that these are not equal to each other. The 300 is how many calories? Ken decreased his intake. And 175, so this was 7% of his original. So this is what it was supposed to be. This is how much he was supposed to do. So this is how many calories Ken was supposed to increase his intake by. Okay, so he decreased it by 300. That was his change, and he was only supposed to decrease it by 7%, no more than 7%. So his number needed to be 175 or lower, and so 300 is not that. So no, Ken reduced his intake too much. 300 is not equal to 175. Okay, it's not equal to it. Okay, exercise 2. I feel like exercise 2 is not really similar enough to our previous examples, so we're going to do this one together. Skylar is answering the following math problem. The value of an estimate decreased by 10%. The original amount of the investment was $75. What is the current value of the investment? Skylar said you can say 10% of $75 is $7.50, which it is. If you do 0.1 times 75, you're going to get $7.50. And since the investment decreased by that amount, you have to subtract $7.50 from $75 to arrive at the final answer of $67.50. Okay, so his is correct. He is doing this way on the left, our discussion on the left, the 10% of the bill, so subtracting. Okay. Create one algebraic equation. So he did a couple of different things there that can be used to arrive at the final answer of $67.50. Solve the equation to prove its results in an answer of $67.50. Be prepared to explain. Okay, so obviously we're not going to be explaining. So we're basically going to be doing what we had on the right to do this. Pay 90% of the bill. Okay, so it's decreasing by 10%. And so I want to know, what am I actually paying? Or how much of my investment do I have left? So if I do 100 minus 10, or 100% minus the 10% that it's decreasing by, means I still have a 90% value of the current investment. Okay. So P